It's the first week of August and there's not much left around in the garden here. I've been cleaning up all the dead vines and stuff. But one thing we still have growing here, sweet potatoes. So I planted them in May, I'm pretty sure. And now it's October. So is that 6 months? That should, I mean, it's usually 90 to 100 days at most. So we should be good with them having grown pretty much as they're going to. So I'm gonna dig up a corner, see what we got, and hopefully we've got some sweet potatoes. Because I'm a negative Nancy, I'm not hopeful about this, but maybe, who knows? So I'm gonna pull out some of these vines. Oh, that's a sweet potato. Not very big, but it's a sweet potato. But that's also why I want to just do like one corner, because if I see that they're like this and they're not, and they are growing, maybe I'll leave it for another couple of weeks. It's like the end of the month is when the first frost comes. So hopefully, if they're not ready now, in a couple more weeks, they'll have grown a little bit in size. But like I said, that's why I just want to do just the corner first, see what we got going here. But at least it's a sweet potato. Well, I can feel potatoes in here, but they're all very small, so maybe that's what I'm gonna have to do. But I'm gonna keep digging. Maybe this is just like on top and there's something more down below. Fingerling sweet potatoes. Okay, I'm gonna do just one more section, I think. Obviously a different kind of sweet potato, more reddish than the first one that I pulled out. Feel things down here. They don't feel big though. At least I don't think so. Well, that's a sweet potato, medium-sized one. But we're getting there, right? It's a sweet potato. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna let it go a little bit longer. Yeah, I just go across this whole area here. potatoes sticking up out of the ground. So, okay. I can grow sweet potatoes. Now I just have to figure out how to grow big sweet potatoes. Those there. Lots of little ones. So these are my sweet potatoes, as meager as they are. So there's also just one row. So maybe a couple of more weeks and we'll get a little bit larger size from anything that's remaining in there. So I'm not quite sure why the potatoes really aren't growing to size. Like I said, I planted them in May. It's October. So it's, you know, almost 5 months. And from what I understand, sweet potatoes are anywhere from 90 to 120 days, whereas like 150 days. These were store-bought potatoes. I'm not sure what kind they were. And I don't know if these varieties, because there's obviously two different varieties here, a pink one and a red one, or an orange one and a red one, and whether they require longer times. That doesn't seem to make sense. They do get a lot more sun. I do think they get a full day of sun here, so that shouldn't be a problem. Although now in the fall it doesn't quite get as much sun, of course. But we do have sweet potatoes. Now, as you might recall from last year, I didn't have sweet potatoes. I had thin little roots the entire way through. And I had a couple of suggestions on what it might be, like not enough sun, stuff like that. And that's why I had cut down the wild cherry tree that was supposed to be an apricot tree behind it. I'm not very hopeful. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I had stuck my fingers in there to see if there might be anything growing. And I wasn't too hopeful based on what I had found, but that was a few weeks ago. So maybe a few weeks changes everything. So let's go find out. Because if I don't get sweet potatoes this year, I don't know if I'm going to bother again next year. I must be the only person that can't grow sweet potatoes then. Well, not exactly a haul, I would call it. It was a couple of sweet potato looking tubers. So at least that gives me hope for next year. Maybe I will grow them again next year and try. I've been watching a lot more videos though about growing sweet potatoes, and I got a few ideas. Can't remember them right now, but I had some ideas as to what else I might be able to do to actually produce sweet potatoes. But who knows, maybe in a couple more weeks, whatever's in there will swell up more and we'll actually have sweet potatoes. But at least this is a start. Like I said, it gives me hope that I can grow sweet potatoes. Okay, because I'm me, I just can't let it go. So I'm gonna dig up some more. I actually dug up another row and it was basically the same thing. So there is a divider in the bed. So I'm gonna dig up the rest of this half of the bed. Push all that over there. And then we'll come down through here and see what we got. Still the same thing. I did notice that partway down that ground was very compact. I don't know if that has anything to do with it for sweet potatoes. Oh, that's almost a sweet potato, right? Look at that. Maybe when I get to the other side of the bed, it'll be better. That for whatever reason, this side of the bed is not quite as prolific. Although I have to say, whatever plant was here, seems to have been a lot of potatoes here. See, the roots from like the other plants on the other side of the bed are growing all the way into here, so maybe that side will be better. Maybe I should dig it up. Considering since I'm cutting through all the roots here. All right, I'm just gonna dig everything up. 2 weeks ain't gonna do anything. Like when I started picking up carrots, couldn't stop. You know, there goes that theory. As I said, more like fingerling sweet potatoes. I just don't know why they're taking so long to develop, because obviously, you know, this plant had a lot of roots, but nothing here, and that wouldn't have grown into a sweet potato in a couple of weeks. All right, let's see what we get out of this section of the bed. Okay. It's like a carrot. COVID mask, anyone? What's that doing in there? So I'm still disappointed, of course. I wanted more, a lot more. I am encouraged enough to try again next year. I got a couple of potatoes that I could, eat as baking potatoes, and I think most of those, once they're cured, I'm gonna save them for Thanksgiving dinner and make a sweet potato mash. But I am still disappointed. But this being year 2, it's much better than it was last year. So that's hopeful. Third time's the charm, right? So next year, we'll give it a go again. Hopefully come up with a nice harvest of sweet potatoes next year. Now, I think a couple of these sweet potatoes I'm gonna save, if I can, till next year. I saw on Deep South Homestead that Danny saves like some of his skinny potatoes and uses them to grow his slips. Well, I got plenty of them to grow slips with, and his skinny potatoes are much larger than my skinny potatoes. But you know what? Maybe I can get some slips out of them anyway. And using my own slips instead of continuously going to the store and buying new sweet potatoes, maybe that'll help too. Like I said, I watched some videos, and I'm going to try some different things next year. Maybe the combination of everything will give us a decent potato harvest. Or it'll ruin it, or set me back to my starting point. So if you want to see what we're doing in the garden last week, check out this video right here. And then subscribe and hit that notification bell. And that way you'll be able to follow along on the progress, or lack thereof, as we try to grow a supermarket in our own backyard. Okay, thanks for watching.